Thank you. So, we're going to talk about how to self-assess, but perhaps we need to even start with, like, what is the standard for public code? And I think we can start with saying it's not the metadata standard public code.yaml. If you have that, you meet one of the 112 requirements in the standard for public code. So it's a bit wider, and it was developed with a specific purpose to make it easier to collaborate on a code base. And specifically, when it was developed for public organizations doing open source, collaborating with other public organizations who wanted to do the same thing. So that was the idea. I think, though, that the requirements could be useful for anyone who wants to increase the collaboration in their code base. It was originally developed by Foundation for Public Code. Currently, it's community managed, and there's agencies in Sweden, Denmark, and France who is in the core committers or core maintainers group. And there was this idea that on this website, standard-compliant.publiccode.net, we should list everyone who meets the standard so we know, because that would be, if you meet everything, that would be sort of like a guarantee that it would be almost frictionless to start collaborating on this code base because you have done everything to the best practices. Now, if you go there, the site is there. It's a list of 0 items. So no one has met all of it yet. We're waiting for someone to get to it. But there is a list of people who have started and committed to do this work. And if you click through there, you can go to their repos and see their assessments. So there's also like a simple self-assessment. Instead of doing like all 112 requirements at once, here's just 10 yes or no questions. And if you answer 1 or 0 or few yeses, you're not really ready for this yet. You're not ready to collaborate. You're doing your thing on your own. But if you get up to like 8, 9, or 10, yeah, then you're ready to start thinking about collaborating. And that's when we used to do a full assessment. And here's just a screenshot. You don't need to see it, but it's a Dutch code base for case management. And the idea was that everything would be sort of traceable with references and sources and links that supported the claim that someone was meeting a requirement. And if you now want to do yourself full self-assessment, there's like a 2-pager, 2A4 or 4A5. And here's one of those pages where you can just check the box for yourself, like, do I meet this requirement? And you can go through everything. But if you want to get a little bit more into it, you also sort of like show this to others that, yes, we are meeting this. You can use this review template and add the notes and links and go through each of the requirements here. And you're not meant to see this, but sort of the requirements are sort of like, yes, you're using an open source license. It's meant to be used by others. It should be localizable. So there's this must, should, and optional requirements. So if you go to GitHub standard for public code, you can find this template to start doing it yourself. I forgot to put in the standardforpubliccode.org, where you actually can read the entire standard in full, because I was just doing this an hour ago. But the review template is there. Everything is CC0. You can also join the community if you have opinions like, no, this is how we shouldn't do it, or something. There's also a community discussion now. How should we show how our people are meeting, even if they're not fully compliant with this, like where we're working on this? How would we like to show off that? So that's where we are right now. So if you want people to collaborate, take a look at this. That's all.